Match week 33 looks then, it all starts on Saturday. You could argue, actually, there's something riding on each and every fixture. I mean, we were looking at Southampton, Manchester City, but then after what City did against Liverpool, they want to keep that momentum going. So you could make a case for each 10 of those games. So let's kick off our weekend preview, focusing on that Champions League race, which is intriguing now. And we saw there, of course, that it's Manchester United against Bournemouth. And Alan, I don't think you could find two sides right now whose confidence levels could be so opposite.
Absolutely, and I think that, you know, for Bournemouth, Eddie Howe has never been in this situation before, and it's all new. And I think that, you know, he's probably going into press conferences, waiting for that loaded question and being on the back foot. Whereas since he's been in the Premier League, it's always been, you know, congratulations, well done, and you know, etc. So he's on a real learning curve, and it don't seem to be getting any easier by going to Old Trafford this weekend.
Yeah, well, you know, United are unbeaten in 15 in all competitions right now.
It's the last team you want to be playing at the minute. They are flying, confidence in the team. You know, seeing them the other day and how confident they are. And you know, for me, Matic has seemed to have gone again in respects of how he's dropped the other day and how confident they are. And you know, for me, Matic has seemed to have gone again in respects of how he's dropping into that final third, letting Bruno Fernandes and Pogba just get on with what they're doing. It just looks like it's starting to click. And it's the last team that Bournemouth want to be playing right now. Forwards on form, midfielders on form. You know, it's going to be a very tough day for them.
It certainly will be. Let's hear from both managers involved.
Oh well, it's been a while since of course we've been on a run like this. When I first came in, the run was also a good one. But now, no, definitely we are feeling confident. We are feeling in good form, and they should be, because they've worked so hard over the lockdown period, and they're just getting their sharpness and fitness and match fitness back. So. And of course, when you perform like you have done, Sheffield United, Brighton games, I thought they were really good. So they should be confident.
At one point in 7 games is nowhere near what we need. But the beautiful thing about that is the past. And although the 6 games we have are very difficult on paper, sometimes that can bring out the best in us. So I'm still very much with the team. I'm still very much on the positive mindset that we can do it. But certainly we're going to have to elevate everything to a new level from what we've seen in the last few games.
I've seen lots of quotes that we have an easy run in, but then next 5 games, they're against Bournemouth. We lost to them previous game. Aston Villa, we drew to them last at home at Old Trafford. We have Southampton, which we drew to. We lost to Palace. We lost to West Ham. So there's teams that we've got a point to prove against, and we know that we have to improve on our last performances against them. So, no, I don't think it's an easy game. I think it's the same answer, really. What anyone else thinks doesn't really matter, because we know to win a game of football we have to perform.
Fearing the sack is not helpful and productive in any way. You know, what am I going to do? Sit at home and worry about my future? No, I'm going to try and make the team play better, and try and focus all my energies on what we deliver on the training ground. Worry about my future. No, I'm going to try and make the team play better, and try and focus all my energies on what we deliver on the training ground, how I speak to my players. I'm a realist. I know that football is about results. Doesn't matter how long you've been at a football club, you need to win games. But I can only affect what I'm doing right now.
So Bournemouth will be looking to become the first team in 16 to beat Manchester United in this unbeaten run. It dates back to January the 22nd. Raf, you know, there are some runs sometimes that paper over the cracks. Would you agree, though, that certainly isn't the case here for United?
No, I think that this is an accurate reflection of improvement. They haven't been irresistible. They haven't been quite at the level of Manchester City and Liverpool. It might take a year or so for them to get back, but at least I think there's a sense of momentum, there's a sense of progress. I think fans enjoy to see them play. They're scoring goals, they play with a degree of freedom, and you know, Pogba's back. Let's not forget, I mean, this is a decent player. who has missed most of the season. And I think it makes a huge difference if he's on the pitch, especially with Bruno Fernandes, who's only playing his first half season at Man United. So I think the two of them have added a lot of dynamism and movement and goals and just excitement. And I think it's much more fun as a neutral to watch this Man United.
Yeah.
They were so impressive against Brighton as an attacking force, Alan. I mean, they look like United of old under Sir Alex.
Yeah, lots of people getting in the box and not afraid to express themselves.
An attacking force, Alan. I mean, they look like United of old under Sir Alex.
Yeah, lots of people getting in the box and not afraid to express themselves, you know. And I think that everyone's talking about Fernandes coming into the club. He's actually took the pressure off of Pogba, because Pogba was the one who was getting a lot of the criticism for the results and probably wasn't all down to him. But because Fernandes has come in and has been such a success, he can now come back into the team, Pogba, and get on with playing, as opposed to having the rest of it around him. And, you know, so I think they've got a nice make-up, and I think Ollie's in such a great position at the moment that he could make 3 or 4 changes if he wanted to, and they'll just carry on. Whereas Eddie Howe will be making 3 or 4 changes, and it'll be difficult.
Ian, are you surprised just how quickly Bruno Fernandes, with that scintillating volley there, has settled in? I mean, he's already contributed 8 Premier League goals, or been involved in 8 Premier League goals in 8 games.
Yeah, he was coming with that reputation of an assist, is supreme assister in respect, assister, a supreme player in respects of assists. So when you've seen how he's come in and how comfortable he is, and yes, you know, some people for some reason have to have longer to settle, but I think when you've got a player that quality and that calibre, and then he's got players around him that he's obviously given a lift to, their game's risen, then Pogba comes back. And then you listen to the managers talking about the games, and it isn't easy running. Whatever Ole says, it isn't easy running. And when he named off the teams, every single one of those teams, the Manchester United side, should be beaten, but they weren't in the form that they're in now. They didn't have Fernandes, they didn't have Pogba. Martial wasn't scoring at the rates he's scoring at, and they weren't playing nowhere near like they were. But now, it's a Man United side going into a series of games, a running of games, where they are supremely confident, and they probably should win all those games.
I think some teams are defined by their system and by their structure. I think United is more defined by their players at the moment. And because there was a bit of a vacuum, somebody like Fernandes, who just wants to make things happen all the time, has a big platform in this team, because he doesn't have to think about necessarily, you know, playing the kind of game that the manager wants and being intricate and you know, adhering to the philosophy of the team, because it's all still, I think, developing under Ole. And he's been absolutely huge for this team.
I think it's the makeup of that midfield three. As Ian has already said, Matic has come back like a new man. They've given him a new contract. So he's the holding midfield player. He knows his role. Fernandes can float around and affect and produce and, as Ian said, assist. And now Pogba knows what his role is. Pogba gets in that box. And for me, he's the nearest thing, when he wants to get in the box, to Brian Robson. Get in that box-to-box, no one... Stay what's in that box. And for me, he's the nearest thing, when he wants to get in the box, to Brian Robson. Get in that box-to-box, no one can stay with him. So they've probably got their roles defined a little bit better now.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
And they've got Fred and McTominay on the bench, and they were doing pretty well before the lockdown. Well, if United's run-in, as Ian said, is pretty straightforward. This is what Bournemouth have got on the horizon. And don't forget, they go into this having lost their last 4 games. I mean, that defeat to Newcastle was particularly damaging.
Yeah.
But it's a tough run-in as far as Bournemouth are concerned here. Look at that. Tottenham, Leicester, Manchester City, Southampton perhaps, but that's a derby. And let me tell you, they've got Everton, who they've lost on every visit to Goodison in their time in the Premier League.
Well, you look at that running, and like I said with Man United, they could probably win all theirs. The form that Bournemouth are showing right now, and the way they were taken apart by Newcastle, they could lose all of those games, because you look at Southampton, their form's kicked in. Everton, you know, they're looking pretty sharp. Leicester are going to need to actually make sure that they win this game, simply because of their ambitions to be in the top 4, and Tottenham are going to have to bounce back. So it's going to be a very tough run-in for Bournemouth. I can't see them getting anything out of that.
I think Bournemouth are a victim of their own success in some respects. Like, been in the Premier League for 5 years. must be the smallest club since Wimbledon was in the top flight. 12,000 fans and etc. They've done fantastically well, but they've got a real job to stay in the Premier League.